Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're here with the next episode of my How To YouTube series. Today we're going to be talking about you, the individual or the individuals who are deciding to go out and take on this endeavor. This is, this attempt to do YouTube, to make it an actual thing. Whether you're going to look at it on more of a hobby level or more of a serious level, you want to make YouTube content for one reason or another. Now, most of the mindset things that I'm going to focus on today are for those people who are serious about this. They're working some BS 9-to-5 job, or they're even in school and they really don't know what they want to do when they want to get out of school. But they have a very strong feeling about YouTube. It's something they seriously have thought about for a long time. It's something they want to do, and they just want to take it to the next level. They want to try and make it a full-time job, something that they could make a living off of at some point, much like myself. So there's definitely a lot of things that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about, obviously, your personal mindset going into it. Persistence is a big thing. Dealing with the emotions that you're going to have, some of the emotional hardships, the mental hardships that you're going to deal with. A lot of these, I think, are actually very easy to get over, but we're going to talk about them. Time management being one of the biggest ones. So let's dive right into it. I mean, first and foremost, the biggest thing as a human being that you're going to deal with when doing YouTube are the ups and downs. There's going to be plenty of them. There are going to be times when you hate everything that you do. Maybe it's for a good reason, and sometimes it's not for a good reason. There are times where negative feedback is going to be thrown your way, whether it be actual feedback or whether it just be people on the internet who don't like your stuff, who decide that they want to call you names and all that sort of BS that you're going to have to deal with. And I'd like to say early on, if you're sensitive to that sort of thing, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very hard. And you're probably going to have to focus on doing things like not reading the comments, which means you miss out on some of the positive feedback. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like having comments enabled or disabled is the end of the world either way. But at an early stage for your channel, I think turning off YouTube comments could possibly be the death of the channel, because YouTube comments do actually generate people coming back. Now, whether or not that's something that you actually care about, you just want to draw in the people right off the get-go who are interested in your content, or, you're not concerned about that, that's a personal choice you'll have to make. I turned off comments for about 2 months when they first implemented the Google Plus system, and it was just a mess, and it was terrible, and I didn't want to support YouTube in that. And a lot of us did, actually, just temporarily. In fact, certain people did it permanently at that point, for that reason as well as for other reasons, including Total Biscuit and several others. It kind of got cleaned up a lot bit more. I brought it back to the channel. What I had done was I'd taken it to Reddit. So there was a subreddit specifically for the channel. Videos were posted over there, and you could talk about each video. And it actually worked really well. There was discussion that went on there, and it was good. But there was a lot of people who weren't willing to make a Reddit account. And I guess I can understand that. Not everybody wants to go add another account to the 50 million accounts that they have, no matter how long it takes them to sign up for it. But I brought it back to the channel, and, it's still here. And sometimes you read negative stuff. Sometimes you don't. To be honest, I don't actually read that much negative stuff. And when I do get a negative comment, it's usually just someone who disagrees with my opinion and decides to be very defensive about it and very attackish, which is just the way that people are. I mean, it's whatever. Very few people can have a actual, normal discussion. And on the internet, I find that to be a very silly thing to even think that could possibly happen between two people leaving comments at completely different times. So I'm not really concerned about it, to be honest. I've gotten over the whole negative comment thing a long time ago. Really could care less. I'm looking for the positive feedback, people actually leaving, feedback that I can use. Things that I might say, that makes sense. Maybe if I try this, it seems that there's a large majority of the people who would like to see that. That's what you need to focus on with the comments. That's what you need to focus on with the feedback and the comments that you're going to get in general. And obviously the positive stuff, I think you should definitely highlight that. I go out of my way to respond to those people, not just because they're liking what I'm doing, but because they're usually showing that they've actually watched the video, that they've seen the video more than 3 minutes through. They've watched it to the end usually, and they told me something about it that they really enjoyed. And of course I'm going to respond to that. I'm going to be like, yeah, thanks. It's good to see that people enjoyed that. I know what people like. And I feel that sometimes knowing what people like is more useful than knowing what people don't like, because you're not going to please everyone at the end of the day. And if you just have this super large number of people just telling you what they don't like, then it's very difficult to try and figure out what they actually want. Whereas if you have people telling you exactly what they liked about the video, then boom, there you go. And at the same time, should note this. You need to do the channel for yourself. You need to make the content that you want to make. Yes, you can target it and you can create aspects of it that obviously are going to pull in an audience. And these are things that we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video. This is going to be a lengthy one, so grab a seat. We're going to be here for a while. But really, that's what I have to say about feedback, about comments, and all of that stuff. I don't really want to talk about it anymore because there are more important things that we need to be discussing. So that's really a personal hurdle you're going to have to deal with. Like I said, if you're sensitive to people leaving negative comments, especially early on, let's be honest, unless you really spend time practicing and focusing before you start putting videos live, you're going to make shitty videos. It's just what's going to happen. That's just the end of it. You know, if this is something you're literally just starting out doing tomorrow, your videos are probably going to suck. You know, it's going to be, you got all the equipment, you have everything, your videos are probably going to be pretty rough. And you're going to have to learn from that. You're going to have to try and improve over time. And that's where this next part comes in, and that is the, you know, persistence that you're going to need to have to succeed in this. This is something you have to teach yourself. You're taking this on full bore. Maybe you have background experience, but let's focus on the people who don't. They've never spoken on radio. They've never done any sort of public speaking. They have, you know, terrible discussion skills. These are all things you're going to have to develop. You're going to have to spend time with them. You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to, I don't know, write a small document, or think of some sort of a topic that you want to discuss to your family and sit there and just speak it straight out, you know. Hey, let me tell you guys about this game I played yesterday, and try and speak about it in a formal manner to them like you would. Things like that are great for practice. They allow you to practice off the air. You know, you don't have to make an entire video, put it up. You can do small things like that to work on your discussion skills. Hell, just talking to somebody on a daily basis about games is going to help build up those discussion skills. I did it for years before I did YouTube. I was always that guy who was like, hey man, you know, I played this, you guys check this out. And I would tell people lengthy reasons as to why I played the game, what I liked about it, and try and capture those feelings that I had when playing the game, and then put them into words so I could tell other people about them. So that was my practice. You know, obviously there's a lot of other smaller things that are going to come into play with cleaning up and polishing your experience. And again, those are all going to require persistence and hard work. Taking a look at your videos, listening to your audio back, realizing what words you're repeating, using too often, any placeholder words you're using to fill in empty gaps in your speech. And yeah, and all those those are a common thing. You're going to hear yourself saying them very often because you're not sure what you're going to say next. That's how unscripted discussion works. Your brain tries to fill in the gaps with just empty words, and you have to learn to cut back on that. You have to learn to just take a breather. It's okay to pause. I learned that myself. People always told me I spoke too quickly because I would really nail my thoughts out and ramble them off. And to be honest, it definitely affected the quality of what I was saying. Take a few pauses here and there. Let your brain process. Your brain can be very quick, especially when you train it. In just a few milliseconds, a few seconds here and there, and you can think about what you're going to say for the next 10 minutes sometimes. That's a really key focus on, you know, increasing your speech, your overall quality of your speech, becoming well-spoken, as people say, and making sure that when people listen to you, it's smooth, it's relaxed, it doesn't sound all cut up, your ideas are concise, they're well formatted, they're put in a nice order, and people enjoy listening to you then. They're not focused on the fact that you're jumping around and you're pausing and you're saying, okay, every 10 seconds. I had a teacher. She was my English teacher in 9th grade. And you'd think that as a teacher, you would want to expand yourself. You know, you'd want to grow, and you'd want to make sure that when you spoke to your kids, it was comfortable for them to listen to. They enjoyed listening to your words, and you could get your points across without having the kids feel like they were bored or dulled out. I mean, we weren't really kids at the time. This is like talking freshman year of high school. But my one teacher loved to just say, in between all of her pauses. And it was a very distracting thing for me. You know, someone is speaking to you and they're saying, you know what I'm saying? Okay. You know what I'm saying? It was literally like that dude from South Park. I mean, I kid you not. That's exactly how she was. Cleaning things like that up in your speech takes time, takes vigilance, takes persistence. But if you do it, you're going to notice an instant performance increase in your audio, in your content, in the way that you speak. It's something you're going to have to focus on. So keep that in mind. Correct your errors. Find them. Listen to your audio. Find the error you're making, find the words you're repeating, find those unnecessary fill-ins of pauses, learn how to pace yourself. All of that, you need to look for that when you look at your audio, and then learn from it. Make a conscious effort the next time around. Now, in making a conscious effort, you may find yourself losing focus. You may find yourself falling out of place. That's okay. It's all part of the process. You're just going to have to learn to take it with strides. repetition, keep practicing, keep learning from what you said, and you will improve. You just have to make that conscious effort to learn from those mistakes, and I guarantee you will improve. It's as simple as that. A lot of things I'm going to say, right? They sound ridiculously easy. They sound like, oh, you're just saying that. And it is. It's just a matter of spending the time. Now, speaking of time, we should talk a little bit about time management, because this is going to be an important aspect for many people, especially those in school, those who are working full-time jobs. We need to break this down, though, okay? You have to decide how seriously you want to take this, how much time you want to commit to. Now, if you're looking at the channel like, I seriously want to do this, this is what I want to make a living off of, that's a bold statement. I've said it. It's definitely bold what I'm doing, because, you know, there's a lot of people out there who are just like, but what if? And I'm not concerned about the what if. You can't be concerned about the what if. You're only concerned about the when. When my channel gets to this point and I can live off of the money that it makes. When. That is what I'm aiming for. When I make it happen. Not when it magically happens. When I make it happen. When I've pushed hard enough that it has just become a reality. That's what you need to focus on. And if you're slacking on the amount of time that you have and utilizing it, then it's just not going to work out for you. You have to look at it this way. Do you want to work really hard right now? Don't get me wrong, you can still have a good time, but do you want to work really hard right now for the next 3-4 years, however long it might take you, to make sure that this is what you get to do for the rest of your life? To provide income, to put food on the table for your family, to buy a house and a car and all the things that you want to move forward in life. Is that what you want? Then you need to work hard now, not later. You need to do it now. If you want to do it later, go right ahead, you know, because you can waste as much time as you want. I mean, you have how many years of your life? You could decide to finally start working hard when you're 40 and your body's starting to get old. You're starting to get sore and you never were able to do the things that you love. Were never able to go to the places that you wanted to go. You didn't get to have that family because you couldn't afford to put food on the table. You can wait. Wait all you want. Keep working that 9 to 5, that minimum wage job. Keep doing that thing that you absolutely hate so much that you wake up stressed every single morning just thinking about going to work. Or you can work hard now. You can put in the hours. You can put off things like partying and going out on the weekends for unnecessary reasons. And you can focus on working. I understand people go to school. Some people work 40 hours a week. There's a lot of hours in the day. There's 24 hours in the day. Maybe you do have so many jobs going on and you're working so often and you're just in the position where there literally is no extra time in the day, then this probably isn't something for you. You've made yourself, you're in a place now where you can't really make a change in your life. You have things you have to take care of. You have responsibilities. But for those of you who are out there who you're young, this is really who I'm stressing towards. People my age, younger than me, 18, 17, 16, going down that way. You have a lot of free time. You're young. You probably work just some really tiny job. Even if you work 40 hours a week and you're just going to high school, there is plenty of free time left to make YouTube happen. You have to use all of that time. You have to cast aside the watching TV for hours on end, the sitting there doing absolutely nothing, mindlessly, staring at the screen. Hell, even just playing games for the sake of playing games. Try and focus that into something. You love games, right? Try and focus that into the channel. Spend more time playing that game, not because you just want to play it and you feel like doing something different. You don't want to work on YouTube today, but no, because you're researching that game. Because you want to get a really good feel for what the game is about so you can write your first impressions video the next day. You just have to manage your time. There's a lot more time in the week, in the day, than people claim. Use all of it. Every single second of it. This is what my brother tells me. People, talk about being a lion and attacking things. Look at this analogy, okay? A lion rests. A lion takes a break. Lions sleep. They go hard for a very small amount of time, and then they sit down and they rest. You want to be a creature. You want to be a fucking creature, all right? You just want to work. You don't even want to think about stopping until your brain just doesn't want to function anymore, and then you realize, okay, I need to take a break. But you just want to push it to the absolute limit. You want to just be this monster, this inhuman, this otherworldly creature who is just so focused on making their dream come true that nothing else matters. Now, I'm not saying stop eating, stop sleeping, and stop, enjoying free time, because you still need to make time for that. You just need to limit that amount of time. My brother, as a writer, focuses on maybe an hour to 2 hours every other day of free time, and then you add on things like eating your meal, gathering sleep and things like that. But otherwise, he's working pretty heavily writing nonstop, and I try and do the same. Whenever I'm not at work, I'm doing YouTube. And I reserve a few hours at the end of the day or sometimes in the middle or the beginning of the day for free time, and then I usually take the weekend off. I usually take Sunday off. Saturday, I usually am working on something for the following week, but you just need to make a schedule that's going to work for you, and you need to work around what you have. Now, there are people out there who will tell you, oh, just make a video whenever you have time, and that may work, but you're trying to build up a consistent viewer basis. If you're really inconsistent with the content that you put out, people are probably going to leave. If you put out a video, 1 week and then 2 videos the next week, and then all of a sudden you disappear for a month, you're not going to hold on to people like that in an early stage. It's a little bit different when your channel gets bigger. You can probably get away with that. You're still making income, residual income from past videos. But as a new YouTuber, someone making new content, you need to be putting out that content. You need to be drawing people in. You need to be getting people hooked, and you need to be keeping them there. They need a reason to come back to your channel every week or every day or every other day or whatever you're going to do. And again, that all comes down to a more personal schedule. You need to understand what works for you. How many videos can I put out a week? How long does it take me to make one video? It's going to take you forever when you first start. There's so many things you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to worry about editing and audio editing, and just take it all in strides, all right? I'm not saying you have to go just, drive yourself mad in the first week, but these are all things you need to focus on and all things you need to build up towards. Because once editing becomes easy, audio editing, all that stuff, recording becomes second nature, again, you got to get into creature mode. You have to focus. You have to wake up and say, I don't have work till 4 o'clock today. What am I doing? I'm working on YouTube. Okay, that's the train of thought you need to have. And don't get me wrong, I find myself being lax sometimes. Too lax often, I have the day off. I made a video earlier in the day, and then I sit there and I say, well, I made a video. I think I'll take the rest of the day off. Okay, sometimes that's fine. Sometimes you give yourself that break. But at the same time, I could be doing this. I could be recording that. I could be working on this piece of art. I could be looking at ways to market the channel. That is a big thing as well. Marketing is something you're going to have to think about in some way. You need to get yourself out there. And I'm not talking about paid marketing. I'm talking about just throwing your content in everyone's face. Now, there are people out there, there's groups of people on the internet who hate that. They don't like YouTubers. They don't like the idea that you're making money for free. You don't work at all. No, yeah, we don't work at all. We don't do any work. I make these videos just magically. All the effort I put into them just comes out of thin air. Ignore those people. You need to share your content. You need to go to forums for games. Post your stuff in places. And you need to be able to do that with a level of confidence. This is something that will also develop over time. Early on, you're not going to want to share your videos with people because you're probably not going to be confident in their quality, and that's fine. But one day you'll reach that point where a part of you recognizes you're making something good and you want to share it with people. You want to hand people your business card and say, dude, check this out. You like video games? Yo, give this a go, man. Here's my channel. Come watch this. This is what I play. This is what I do. Check this out. You need to reach that, though. And there will always be a part of you that is convinced that you're still not doing as good as you could have done. And you need that to stick around. That needs to be there. You need to doubt yourself just a little bit sometimes. Not a lot. There's a fine line there, but a part of you needs to always be wanting to push forward, to become better, to become something more. And as long as that part sticks around, you will always progress and you will always improve. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for progression in your content. If you remember that, then that's okay. But like I said, you will one day reach that day where you are so proud of your work that you have no problem going to the forums for that game that you've been playing for the last 6 months, all the videos you've created, and say, hey, I'm a YouTuber. I've been doing YouTube for so-and-so. I make some really great content for this game focused. This is the kind of playstyle I do. If, you guys are looking for something great to watch, check this out. Give it a go. You should be proud to do that. That's when you've reached sort of a really good point in your career where you're making work that you personally enjoy watching and you're more than happy to share it with people. Now, we talked about a lot today. And a lot of it, like I said, it's all about getting yourself in the right mindset. And you can take this how you will. Everyone's going to look at what I've said, they're going to listen to it differently, and then they're going to react to it in a different way. And everyone also has their own personal way of feeling that they've done well. And for some people, that's going to be pushing themselves to the limit. For some people, it's going to be using 10% of what they could do. And if you can recognize that you're only using that 10%, and then you can change that and you can use that 100%, you can, push yourself to the edge to make as the best possible content that you can to learn and teach yourself as fast and hard as you can. That's where you need to be. That is exactly where you need to be. Remember what I said. Remember what my brother said. You want to be a fucking creature. You don't want to be the lion that works hard for a little bit and then takes a break and just kind of, just gets by, just getting the right amount of food that it needs. Some days even starving. No, you want to be a creature. You want to be the thing absorbing everything that comes its way. You want to learn from that and you want to refine it. And you want to make your channel happen. You want to make it something that you can do as a living. That's you, right? That's why you're here. So think about what I said. Try and focus it into your own mindset. Try and understand what I'm saying and make it happen. Go for it. I was just talking to someone today. He had a smaller channel, just like 8 videos on it, and he stumbled upon me and I watched some of his stuff and I was actually impressed. Like, man, this is actually, you're on the right path here. Yeah, there's things to be learned, there's things to focus on, but you have a really great core here. It's obvious that this is something that you enjoy doing. I can see it in the way that you speak, and the way that you talk, and the way things sort of fall in place every now and then. Keep working at it, man. Don't give up. Like I said, you're in school, you're working. It's hard. It really is. You just have to balance it. You have to try and make it happen. You have to use that free time. Like I said, you find yourself sitting there watching television. What could I be doing right now? I could be working on YouTube. Make it happen and do it. If you guys have any questions, anything you'd like to ask me personally, or any stories you'd like to share about some of your personal attempts or endeavors to make YouTube a thing for you, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next one.